Mm. 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 So yeah, let's actually start the whole video thing. Firstly, the Guinean slave empire plans to move into, decides to invade this area through moving into the Niger River, capturing these two cities immediately, almost immediately in just a few weeks, due to shockingly cannons being discovered. Cannons were discovered before guns, I think, so it makes sense. Well, plus, the Guineans are really rich. They're basically as rich as Mansa Musa. Because, oh no, even richer because they have African colonies. They're economically so wealthy, it's impossible to imagine that wealth. The king is multiple bureaucrats are going mad, even castrated ones, due to how rich this is. These people, the Ghanaian Empire is so rich, people are going mad. Specifically, tax collectors are going mad by how much money they have. They have so much money that they could recruit all of the world mercenaries and still have enough to build the and, and still have enough to colonize the moon. Of course, with modern technology because this is the 1600s. But these guys are economically powerful. The capital of the Niger is starting to get sieged down while their major cities are collapsing. At first, but another invasion happens from the north, and they are quickly able to secure farmland and supplies, even just before the Niger army, which is now basically encircled in a bunch of areas with only like three cities being in their name. The only thing that these guys really lack, I mean, the Niger River is absolutely goated in building up a society, but the homeland and the Gold Coast is really just a gold mine. And considering that if your homeland is a gold mine, then it's not going to be a very good homeland. So even though they are stupidically rich, they can't really develop that much, especially due to the corruption. And they're also pretty much this religion. But I haven't updated religion in a long time. But eventually, some strikebacks would be actually able to be done here. But the capital of the Niger, which would be disconnected and would be sieging, or which would be under siege, would get bogged down and fall. And by this point, eventually, basically, the small area here will become the Kingdom of Guinea. The Kingdom of Bissau was formed here. The Niger River would eventually become a small border with all of the land here, which is what was the main economic corner of the Niger Empire. I'm sorry, not the Niger Empire. That's the Niger Empire. This is Nigeria. Big difference. The Nigerians still do have a port city and a really good harbor here, but it's a humiliation by all metrics. And this isn't really even a peace treaty. A military dictatorship is rushed in here, and by military dictatorship, I mean a whole completely new dynasty made from war veterans. I think I really got appetite for religion now. It's several episodes stuck. So let's actually move to Africa. Let's also move into Africa, which is starting to become a really big area since it's not really colonized that much. I mean, the Ugandan civilization, which started due to the exploration of the Nile, is one of the most ancient civilizations and is still somehow surviving. Meanwhile, the yellow team is dead. Same as the original Caucasus country, it would be split into its four ethnic groups. It's kind of interesting how France actually started over here, but eventually moved here while the religions had started out of either Iberia or Caucasus, maybe, actually expanded into most of Europe, and maybe probably the colonial world. Especially if the Guineans was listed as a protector of their faith. And I mean, they do have a really big port area here. The Amazon rainforest is cut down, and they also in this time discovered Terra Nova due to how rich they are. They have the gold mine, and that's funded Mansa Musa's wealth. The African trade of tobacco. Okay, tobacco is not really theirs. It's a member of the it's actually a thing from the potato empire, but still. Also, the sheer amount of sugar that's grown in Dominica, the Louisiana, and the cotton that's grown there, it's a sheer economic masterpiece. These guys are able to turn a bunch of small ports into the most economically powerful nation on earth. Even the Chinese, the Indians, couldn't resist. Which, speaking of the Indians, those people are now absolutely gooned. The Indians also are also really unstable now. The empire has existed for pretty much 2 centuries and 2.5 centuries minimum or maximum out. On the average, probably more, probably less. Okay, no, probably more. It's been here since like the medieval age. Feudalism is also dying in Europe due to that really big war and the royal marriage between Hungary and Holy Roman Empire. And now the Dravidians break free. I mean, because the ancient thing really didn't stop, but this time it just straight up collapsed. No small inside period where the empire is like, oh, what's happening? Oh, whoa. No, it's absolutely just straight up collapse. No. Wait, period, no medal, no cuckoo. With even the areas pretty near the Bengal heartlands, like here and here, while the colonies break off into an independent corporation, because of course they do. Ethiopia also sees this as an economic advantage, with their trade ports down in India. and they start moving up the coast into here, into here. That would actually lead to a strike back by the Bengal Empire, which still is somehow surviving by the troops, but then they're actually able to retake this area. And quick, but they are actually mostly able to, but they quickly lose this in a siege. So basically, we're basically in a period of about 1600-ish. So the new kingdoms break off mainly due to confederate partition because it's actually just a king who divides the kingdoms of his sons. So this and the king had many sons. That's why there was only some rebellions such as the Pure Union or the Burmese Union, whatever you want to call it. It's a union of tribes that, and plus these aren't really just minor tribes. North Sentinel Island is rediscovered. The Sentinelese still somehow live there. After this, a discovery is made that the Sentinelese and this language that the current that Red Team language is a descendant of Sentinelese and Arabic. After this, the Pew cities form, basically an alliance of Burn. The Pew cities also don't really have a capital, so I'm going instead they are a confederation. That's why I'm going to make all of these areas the capital. All the cities right here represent different Jew tribes. And I'm also going to make a border to represent the territory of these tribes. You have the tribe of Bengal, and, of course the tribe of Bengal is mostly descendant of the Bengalese. So there's the tribe of this area. There's the tribe of this area. There's this tribe. There's also this tribe, but the tribe is these are more like city states with inner agricultural territories. Camaria is still really underdeveloped. I'm also using a mouse now. That's a big thing. Radio can't reach the radio star. Video could make the radio bar. Ba 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 ba. These areas actually get settled now with a single city here and there. The Ainu are also becoming really large, same as the Balhae country in Korea. The Tibetan hive cities are really big hive cities. And the Central Bengalese Empire, which was a former colonial superpower during both the classical and medieval period. While the center actually becomes a republic due to the unpopularity of the king, which also sponsored this cooperation. Also, let's actually add another diplomatic. This means that it's a mega corporation. Okay, what symbol should I use for it? I think this would make sense. It's the Dutch hat. Yep, the Dutch hat is a perfect symbol for mega corporation. information. So the Bengalese Indian Company forms. Yep, we hope this and thank you for watching. Subscribe. Good luck and may God bless you.